Hello and welcome to another Hot Toys review. Today we are going to be showing some love to DC by doing a flashback review of Bane from the movie The Dark Knight Rises. Before we get going, don't forget to slam that thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel, as it really helps me out and tells YouTube that you like the content I'm creating. Alright, let's get going. So this figure has been out for quite a few years now, but if you've watched my top 5 Hot Toys grails a few videos ago, you know that he was my number 2 grail that I was currently seeking. Well, I'm happy to finally have him in the collection, as I'm a big Tom Hardy fan and I thought he did a great job in the film. Plus, Batman is my favorite hero of all time, and I really do think the Dark Knight trilogy is the best superhero trilogy of all time. Now let's take a look at the box. This is a used version of Bane, so this box does have some slight wear. There's a really cool and unique design to this box with a great image of Bane on the front, as well as the movie title, The Dark Knight Rises. This box has an interesting size, and it seems like it's not as wide as the typical Hot Toys box, but definitely deeper, and it's got a interesting cutout shape to the slip cover itself, where you can see it on the sides there. On the back we do have the credits and warnings, and again, this is Bane and it is the MMS 183 figure. When we open up the top, we have a nice cover that has the text "Let the Games Begin" with an image of Bane there, like a silhouette. Once we remove that, plus the outer piece of plastic covering the figure, we get our first look at the figure, and right off the bat, I'm impressed with the head sculpt as well as the detail in the outfit, but the body, I think it's going to be a little underwhelming. Alright, before we get to the figure and the accessories, we always start with taking a look at the base itself, and this is a really cool and unique base, and I dig it a lot. At first, I thought I was missing a piece, because if you look, there's like, almost looks like there's no bottom, and it's kind of see-through, and I thought maybe the bottom plugged into here, but no, this is what we get with the base, and it still looks really cool, very lightweight, very thin. Just plastic, and then you do have a metal nameplate here that says Bane. Kind of interesting, a little bit simplistic, as we usually get like the title of the movie plus the character, like usually The Dark Knight Rises Bane. But here it just says Bane. We have the really cool bat logo here, and it really has a great paint application. You can just see different colors of brown, making it look like that sewer area that him and Batman were fighting in. And just really brings this this base to life. Just very rusty and pretty cool. It does come with a normal crotch grabber, so I'm not going to be showing you that. Just plugs in right here. But this base is definitely cool enough that I think I will incorporate it on the shelf with the figure. So very happy with this base. I like it that it's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. You know, we always get those hexagon shaped ones for Marvel or the Star Wars ones, but this looks really cool and very unique, so I'm very pleased with it. Alright, let's now get the accessories out. And here we have all the accessories that our Bane figure comes with, and no, it's not a ton of stuff. They probably could have added more. I think it was the Daft Toys Bane where they gave you the image of Harvey Dent, the photo. Would be cool if he had that, maybe a couple other things that we see throughout the movie, but you kind of get you know, bare minimum here. You know, even just 2 extra sets of hands is not a ton, but let's go through them here. We have the shirt from the first scene in the airplane. We have his leather coat, we have a broken down bat cowl, and then we have an extra gauntlet, and then 2 sets of hands. Going through them a little bit closer in detail, here we have the shirt that comes with Bane, and it's just a typical brown fabric shirt, nothing too special about it. I am kind of glad that they added it though, because with this coat here, this pleather coat is very known to crack and peel and break. This one looks like it's in pretty good shape, but you know, just in case the coat goes or the vest breaks, it's nice to have that third option with the t-shirt as well. So you know, if this starts to go, you still can display your Bane in a different way. But taking a look at the coat, it's really nice. You have a nice liner here, a nice fabric liner for the collar, and then this is a pleather material. We got nice pockets with buttons and fake zippers here. The one thing you do have to be careful with is these clips. When you unplug them and try to plug them back in, they're like a plastic or a very thin metal material, so they do bend and break very easily. So please be cautious with that when maneuvering this guy. But yeah, really cool detail here. It looks very authentic, and I'll probably treat it so that, you know, we don't have any cracking going on. But yeah, very happy that this is intact even under the arms. Everything looks pretty good. Next we have the arm gauntlet for Bane, and the only difference with the one we have here and the one that's on the figure is this hole right here, and it's if you want to have let's see, it's if you want to have the open hand and the thumb kind of coming out of here. So for example, here we have the hand and the thumb through there as well. That's what it would look like on the figure, so you could just swap that out. And we also have a broken bat cowl, which is a really cool accessory that they added. I'm really happy with this. They even added this texture to make it look wet. It's got like this gloss to it, just really spotted, and really good job there too by Hot Toys. And I just like it that it's broken in half. Just really cool on that scene where he breaks his back. So really good to have that as well. And taking a look at one of the hands here, not too much different than any other hands that we have gotten in the past, so I won't harp on these, but here they are. Alright, let's get the figure out here and see what he looks like. Alright, here we have our first look at our Bane figure, and first impressions are that the head sculpt looks really good and has aged actually pretty well. The mask color is like a navy blue, which I guess I never noticed before. I'm not really sure if that's screen accurate or not, but it looks great. Lots of detail in the mask and in that grill part. Really good paint application. Looks just like Tom Hardy in my opinion. The likeness is there. You can definitely see it in the eyes, which I think is sometimes the hardest part to get right on these 1/6 scale figures. On the side of the head you can see the veins popping out. Again, this is what makes Hot Toys so great at what they do. They don't miss out on the smallest of details, and it continues to blow me away. It never ceases to amaze me, so for that I'm thankful. While the head sculpt is very impressive, we move down to like the shoulders and the body of the figure, and things start to somewhat fall apart for me. He looks too small and scrawny. Seeing the seams on the elbows and the shoulder is so unattractive and off-putting in my opinion that it just takes a lot away from this figure. Now, I knew this before purchasing this figure, so I did already pick up a Phicen M34 body, and I will be doing a body swap on my next video, so stay tuned for that coming out, because I think this guy is going to look awesome once we get the seamless body on him. Now, obviously, I'm not a big fan of the body. You know, there's just a big gap in the shoulders where the arms meet the shoulders. I think that looks just terrible, and then obviously the elbows are not very attractive. So, you know, the body is very underwhelming, but they did one thing really, really cool, and they added the scar on the back of the neck running down the back of the figure, and that's really cool. And that is something that if you're going to do a body swap, you do have to, you know, consider that, because you're going to be losing that that piece of detail. Taking a look at the vest, it has a lot of detail. We have a lot of straps and buckles going on, and it looks pretty authentic. Just be careful, as these small straps, they have the clips just like the pleather coat that we talked about, and they do tend to bend and break. So again, be very gentle. Even the clips themselves can just snap. So be gentle with this figure. Lots of stuff going on here, and it looks really, really great. The color of the vest looks really good. On the front of the vest, we have the straps are actually glued down to the midsection of the vest. And it is a widespread issue with this figure where the glue fails over time and the straps break away from the vest itself. Mine actually did do that as well as when I was futzing with it, so I did have to glue it back on with some super glue. Going down to the lower section of the body, we got some good looking pants here with some weathering in different pockets. The legs themselves are loose, but that could be because the figure is older. The posture doesn't look very natural. They have a weird bend to them, and they kind of bend in different directions too. It's hard to get this guy kind of standing and looking good. Once again, something that will be fixed once we swap the body with the M34. The boots look really nice and realistic. I'm glad they added a little bit of weathering to this figure. You know, it's not over the top, but it's just enough to make it come to life. The only issue I have with the boots is that they were made before the split cut boot design came out, so there's little to no movement in the boots themselves, which is going to make it hard for getting him into certain poses and having him stand upright on his own. Next, we have our Bane figure standing on the turntable with our Batman DX12 and our Joker DX11, and they look amazing together. This really completes the trio in my opinion. They look awesome. Again, my Batman figure does have the Armory head sculpt, and which I think is a must, as well as the Unreal Customs cape. Again, we're going to get this Bane guy customized with a new body, so he's going to look even better. But just here in the room together, they bring it to life. They look great together. The size comparison is pretty accurate. You know, they don't look too far off there, because I don't think Tom Hardy is the tallest guy out there. Now, when the new DX19 Batman comes out, he could be a little bit taller, and it might look a little bit different with this Bane figure, so keep that in mind as well. Who knows, maybe one day they will reissue the Bane figure as well. I know a lot of people are holding out for the Joker to be reissued, but yeah, just getting a good look at them here together, and they look awesome. Now let's go to the articulation of the figure. This comes off super easy just because the one I got it's a little bit cracked in there, so it doesn't really hold tight. So mine might be different than yours, but the head falls back a lot. But outside of that, I mean, typical swivel on this ball joint. Looks, I mean, if his head stayed, it'd look down that far and look up about that far. Again, I'm going to be replacing this body with the Phicen M34, so that'll be the next video, but still just want to do a traditional review on this guy so you can kind of see what he looks like out of the box. Arms, you know, they don't go up very far, just to about there. And then the really sad part is we have just a single bend here, which this is an older figure, so I'll give him that, but man, just really restricts what you can do with this figure. You know, you can't have him holding his straps here, or, you know, having his arms, you know, close to his body or anything like that. And then we do have a typical swivel here in the wrist. A little bit of crunch in the abdomen area. And to the legs. Pretty good movement right there. Going forward. Decent there as well. And looks like a double bend in the knee. And then these boots are not split cut, so there's not going to be, outside of this swivel here, there's really no movement back and forth, so that's iffy. And if you can see, what's weird about this body too is the legs kind of, the calves bow out, so like his leg is straight here. But that's how he would look if his legs are staying straight. So you almost have to have like the leg bent even further. I don't know. So it's weird. I'm excited to get this body out and get him into the Phicen one. But there is some restriction here with the articulation. Alright guys, so that was the in-depth unboxing and review of the Bane figure MMS183 from The Dark Knight Rises. Now let's get him into some cool poses and talk about the things that we like and some of the things that we dislike about the figure. Starting off with the things that I really like about the figure, the first thing would be the head sculpt. For how old it is, I think it's an A+ work, and the likeness to Tom Hardy is spot on. Great job, Hot Toys. The second thing that I really like are the clothing accessories that come with the figure. He doesn't overall come with a lot of accessories, but it's cool that he comes with the pleather coat, the t-shirt, as well as the vest. If that pleather coat does start to peel, you have the option to have the vest on or go with the t-shirt, and you can just get a bunch of different looks, and it's always great to have those options. And the last thing that I really like about the figure is actually the base. I'm not much of a base guy, but it's refreshing to get a different base than what we're used to seeing all the time, and I do think the paint application and the detail that went into the base was top notch. Now, some of the things that I dislike about the figure. The first one is going to be no surprise to you all. We've been talking about it throughout the review, and it's the body. It's the size of the body, as well as the exposed seams in the shoulders and the elbows, and he just looks too small to be Bane. It doesn't look natural. He looks like he's lost weight, and I get it, the figure is older, but I do think this figure, if you're going to have him looking at his best, needs a body swap. The second thing, it kind of goes hand in hand with the body of the figure, is the articulation. The arms are pretty restricted. There's no double bend in the elbow, so you're going to be limited to what you can do for posing. The boots do not have a split cut boot design, so there's no movement in the boots themselves. The legs bend funny and they don't look natural, so just the articulation of the figure isn't the best. The last thing that I dislike about this figure are the strap clips that they used, and for the clips in the coat. They're very weak and brittle and they can bend and break easy, so you really have to be careful when you're using those clips on the figure. Alright guys, so there you have it. Overall, I would suggest getting this figure if you can find him for a decent price. I would not pay twice the retail value of him on the secondhand market. If you can find him for a good deal, definitely get him and then pick up a Phicen M34 body. I was going to go with the M35, but it's a little bulkier and I don't think it would fit into the clothes of this figure. So we're going to go with the M34, do the body swap on the next video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, get this guy if you're a Batman fan. He definitely has some shelf presence, and get that body swap going. So thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think of this figure, and do you have him in your collection? What DC characters are in your collection? I'd love to hear from you. I don't think DC gets enough love from the Hot Toys company and sometimes the Hot Toys community. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, share this channel with your friends, and be a part of the watch. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys soon.